You started as a lawyer before moving into the diversity realm. Would you talk about how you have guided your career?
Yeah, I went to law school to change the world, and then I got there and I was like, I'm not sure this is the way. But by that time, I had spent quite an investment in my career, so I did practice corporate law, real estate law. I worked for a majority white law firm and then a minority-owned law firm. Very different experiences and useful in many ways, but what I started to recognize, because I started my career in Boston and there were like very few, I was the first Black person in and the only one in my law firm. And while for young people it may seem like 1985 eons ago, I was not expecting to be breaking the color line in 1985. So something about that experience helped me to recognize the paucity of attorneys of color. I then became the executive director of a legal consortium that was trying to solve for this problem in Boston. And what I started to realize is the difference or the relationship between representation, that is diversity, how many bodies you have, and inclusion, the environment in which you are inviting those people to come in, and whether it's right to thrive. So I then started doing some work in the Attorney General's office in Massachusetts around this, and ultimately went out on my own. And so I think what I did was to take my personal lived experience, but also what I saw within organizations that were often thwarting some of their best intentions, and really try to figure out what is the strategy for breaking down the status quo. Dan, I don't know if you know, but the status quo is probably the most resilient force I have ever been acquainted with. And so it's a long-term game. It's a cultural game. And it's a lot about getting enough people paying attention to this. And that's really where my career has gone, because I deeply believe in fairness and equity, which is a newish concept that people are speaking about, this idea of equity. And that really is an admission that the playing field isn't level. So what would we need to do? Not extra, not special, but what would we need to do just to get people on the same level to compete?